Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about things that I believe you should know before you get a hedgehog. When I posted that I got Winston, I had a ton of questions come in and then a lot of people say they wanted one. So I wanted to put this out there just because I know a lot of people won't take the time to research hedgehogs, and that is the biggest thing that I want to stress, is that you really need to research an animal before you get them and learn how they live. Not every animal is the exact same. They're very different, and hedgehogs, especially because they're an exotic pet, they require an exotic lifestyle. So us as humans have to learn that and help adapt to that so that we can give them the best life possible. If you're new here, my name is Darby. I just got a hedgehog on Thursday. It is now Saturday, and his name is Winston Cove. He was born on March 10th, so tomorrow that makes him 8 weeks old. I had a hedgehog in the past, and now I have Winston, and I'll be able to compare both of them for you to give you a little bit more examples as to how personalities in hedgehogs differ. It's kind of crazy how different they all are. But with that, let's just get into the video. So the type of hedgehog that I have is an African pygmy hedgehog. That is going to be the most common type that you'll see here in America. A lot of people will get a hedgehog and get bored with them after the first few weeks or months. And this is why you really need to do your research, because hedgehogs are not just a little cage animal that you have in your room and when friends come over you take it out and play with it for a few minutes and then put it back and don't bring it back out for another week. They require so much bonding in order to love and interact with their human. So within your first few days of getting them especially, you want to hold them pretty much as non-stop as you can. When I got Willow, it took her a week to come out of her ball. She would hiss and puff and just stay in a tight little ball as you've seen a hedgehog be in, and she did not really care. She didn't mind if I was holding her, but she was very scared. Winston, on the other hand, came out literally immediately within 2 minutes of him being in my house, and it was amazing. I was so excited about that. But they do require bonding. They don't have very good eyesight, so they rely on their smells a lot. So just being around your scent, they're gonna really get to know you better. Some people will give up after a week of their hedgehog not coming out of their ball, and it could take your hedgehog a month or two, or it truly could take longer. Willow would still hiss and puff a year into having her, literally up until she passed away. She was still doing it. Winston only does it if one of the animals scares him. Like, he's never really gotten scared at me. He bit me, but I don't really know why. He bit me, but whatever. Hedgehogs don't just live 1 to 2 years. They are going to stick around for 4 to 7 years. So you might be at a place in your life right now where you know in the next 2 to 5 years you are going to be moving or going to college, whatever it might be. You really need to take that into consideration because a hedgehog needs to go with you. I hate seeing people that get a cat or a dog and a few months later, a year or two later, they put it up for adoption for someone else. It's just not fair to the animals. You truly have to commit to your pets for their life. A lot of parents will ask if it's appropriate for their teenager to get a hedgehog or their 12-year-old, whatever. If you know that you're going to be moving away for college, like I said, or in sports and school and all of those things, make sure that if you get a hedgehog, you have the proper time in your schedule to take care of them. Another thing to take into consideration when it comes to moving is hedgehogs are exotic, which makes them illegal in some states. I believe they're only illegal in 5 states, Hawaii and California being 2 of them. I don't know the rest off the top of my head, but you can look it up. Also, because they are exotic, they require an exotic vet, and with that requires expensive vet bills. When Willow got sick, her checkups were so expensive. So be prepared to set a hedgehog vet fund and expect to have to tap into it. When it comes to bonding, a lot of people get nervous because of their quills. So I wanted to talk about that really quick. Yes, their quills do hurt. When they are all tensed up and they're in a ball, the quills will crisscross, and it's literally like if you rubber band a bunch of toothpicks together and grabbed it as tight as you could, that's the pain that you're gonna feel. I've seen videos where people say that it feels like a hairbrush. That is such a lie. Unless you use a very, very painful hairbrush, but they do hurt, especially when you're first getting to know them, when they're sleeping and you go and pick them up. When they hiss and puff and they tense up, it's going to hurt. Now, when they come out of their little ball and they're just relaxing, no, they don't hurt. They're very soft. You can go with the grain of their quills. They're so soft, they're just relaxed, but expect to bleed a few times. Willow made me bleed quite a bit, especially my mom. I think my mom has a really thin skin on her hands because she bled all the time. If you can, try to hold one before you agree to getting one. If you expect your 3 or 5 or 7-year-old to take care of the hedgehog that your family decided to get, you're just not thinking correctly, because they're not going to be able to pick them out of their cage if your hedgehog tenses up every time you reach in to grab them, which that's what Willow did. I had to get used to it. You should not be using gloves to pick them up. That's going to ruin the bonding process even more. You really need to use bare hands, put it under them, and just suck through the pain and pull them out. Winston, I can literally wake him up. He's already calm. I stick my fingers all the way under his belly, lift him up. He doesn't care. He's amazing. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is that hedgehogs are a solitary animal. As much as I wanted them to bond with my cats, he doesn't really care to. He prefers to just be alone and with their human. When I say alone, I just mean they don't really care to be with other animals. You definitely don't want to get 2 hedgehogs. 2 cats, awesome idea. They can play together. 2 hedgehogs together, they are going to fight to the death, and that is just not something that any of us care to have happen to us. So make sure that you're not housing a hedgehog with other animals. One of the most important things that you need to know is a hedgehog is nocturnal. They like to sleep during the day and they're up all night. So if you're in a small house and the hedgehog's going to be in your bedroom, expect the wheel and them eating to wake you up. You can't be mad at that. That's something you will have to sacrifice and get through. You also need to make sure that your schedule allows you to bond with them when they are the happiest. A hedgehog absolutely can adapt to human time. Willow was always awake during the day. Winston's brand new, so I haven't really experienced his true schedule. Of course, I'm getting him out in the day to just hold him, but I'll put him in my sweatshirt pocket or a cuddle pouch and he'll just sleep in my lap. I went into his room last night at like 9 o'clock to get him out, and he was already exploring the cage, so I just let him be so that he could get used to his new home. If you work late hours of the night and you're gonna come home and go to sleep and you're not gonna have time to pull them out when they're happiest, don't get one. You really have to adapt your schedule to accommodate for theirs. Another thing as far as their lifestyle goes is they require a large cage. You can't expect them to just be in the size of a cage that a hamster is in. My cage is just over 4 square feet, I believe, and that is the required size. 4 square feet or 576 inches or 3,716 centimeters in case you're watching from another country. They like big space, but they don't like open space because they feel like they're going to be attacked by their prey. So if you do have a big space, you are able to fill it up with fleece blankets and stuffing for their bedding, toys, their litter box, a wheel, all of the fun things to get them to explore it. I will do a video on his cage setup in the near future, but if you don't have room for a 4 square foot cage, don't get one. As well as a big space, they also have to be between the temperatures of 72 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Some articles have said 80 degrees. I am trying to keep Winston right at 75 degrees. I have a thermostat that detects, how hot and cold the room is. And then I have a ceramic heat lamp that will turn on and off based on if I'm at that 75 degree mark. You're going to have the room heated, so you're going to either have to have a space heater or a heat lamp. We do not recommend using heat pads. I did use one with Willow and I never had any issues, but the more I looked into it, the more I saw that they're just not trustworthy because a hedgehog might stay on it too long and get a burn, and it's just not safe. So if you fear that a space heater or a ceramic heat lamp might cause a fire, maybe reconsider. Or if you don't have the room in your house to solidify an area that can stay at that 75 degree temperature, then reconsider also. I have a spare bedroom in my house, so I put him in there. I closed the door so just that little room is being heated. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about is that hedgehogs are very messy. If you've had a caged animal, you know that they make a mess in their cage. You will need to spot clean most likely every single day. They love to run on their wheel, and when they run on their wheel, their metabolism gets going. They empty their system. They run in it because you're not there to pick it up right away, and it's gonna get on their feet, in their nails, possibly all over their cage, maybe in their quills. It's gonna be messy. So you'll have to spot clean their cage. You'll have to change their litter box. They do bathe. You can bathe them once a month is recommended, maybe twice a month if they are super messy but you don't want to over dry their skin. So if you don't have the time to bathe your hedgehog, clean their cage, all of those things, that's something to consider as well. Another really gross thing that I actually hate saying is that hedgehogs like to take care of themselves in a sexual way. Boys and girls both do it, but boys will make more of a mess because you know what they do. So that dries on their little bellies like a glue, and if you can't get it off with like a toothbrush when you're bathing them, you have to really use your fingers to pull it out of their belly fur, which is just disturbing. And I'm not excited for that. And to be fair, I did not know they did that until the second go around after I'd already reserved a boy. I'm sure Willow did it, but I didn't know. So I probably just thought it was like, I don't even know. I never noticed stuff like that on her. And then the last thing I want to talk about is their diet. The majority of their diet will be like a cat food kibble, but they also need insects. They are designed to be able to digest the exoskeleton of insects. So they're used to eating grasshoppers, crickets, caterpillars, mealworms, all of those things. So you have to be comfortable giving that to them. This is something I absolutely failed on with Willow. I tried to give her dried mealworms that she came with. She didn't like them, so I just gave up. I didn't realize that they actually need live mealworms. The dried ones really provide no nutritional benefit to them. This go around, I went to Petco. You do want to get them from a reputable business, not just outside, because those insects could have pesticides on them from the grass. So you have to be okay with grabbing your little tongs or your fingers. I bought tongs, and I'm gonna feed him to Winston, and I'm gonna show you that because it's something I've never done before. So just make sure that you have a strong enough stomach to handle that. I know that was a lot, but it really was a lot of the really important stuff that I want you to know before you get a hedgehog. It's all insanely important to their life and to just make sure that they have the best life possible and aren't mistreated or abandoned down the road. I actually recorded this video last night when I had quite a bit more energy in me, and then as I was editing it, I realized the lighting was absolutely horrible, so I hope today's lighting is better. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. Let me know what questions you have about hedgehogs. I really do want to do a Q&A pretty soon. I'm going to dive deeper into all of these topics as far as their cage, their diet, heating sources, their bath time. Like I said, I'll show you their mealworm eating time. I'm actually really excited for that. Winston hasn't eaten yet, but it's common for them to not eat their first 1 or 2 meals when they come into a new home just because they're busy exploring. So once he starts eating his normal kibble, we will dive into mealworms and treats. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.